What's going on, fellow engineers? This video, I'm going to install CiviCRM on my WordPress site that I'm building out. I'm going to explain that and why, and the features and functionality that CiviCRM offers after this. Thank you for checking out this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button below. So the reason I'm using CiviCRM for my website, or on my website rather, is to manage the mailing list that I want to actually start up. It's easy to outsource that information to like MailChimp or other platforms, but having something about having control over that information makes it a little bit easier to deal with. In addition, you can do more with it. Like if you wanted to export it, you can do that. If you wanted to, take it and do some data analytics on it, you can do that. CiviCRM is designed to be used by nonprofits. However, I've seen use cases of it where it's been used in other circumstances or situations. And so, go over to the computer here. So CiviCRM, as I mentioned, is a system designed for nonprofits. It's designed in a way where you're allowed to track events, you're allowed to keep track of customers, you're allowed to accept donations, contributions, memberships, those type of things. And so I'm not going to be using it for its entire purpose. Initially, like I say, I'm just going to be using it for the mailing list, and then eventually I'll probably use more of the features like events and event registration and so forth. So to get started, I'm going to download it. There is no plugin for it in the traditional WordPress fashion. The code for CiviCRM, you have to get it from the CiviCRM website. And so I'm going to go to their download section, which is up here in the upper right. And then, as you see, the current version is version 5.24.2. And I'm going to select download for WordPress, and that gives a zip file. So I'm going to copy that link location and then go to my WordPress installation. I'm actually going to go up a level. Let's see, go into WordPress and then WP content. And then going to put it in the plugins directory. All right, so I'm going to do wget here and paste that. And it's going to download. All right, so I have a zip file. So I need to uncompress, and this may or may not work well. Let's see. Linux, as you may know, hates zip files. Trying to see if there is a different way that I can do this. If not, I might have to just download it, uncompress it, and then transfer the files. And I think that's what I'm going to end up having to do. So go back here, download, and go ahead and just open it now. And extract to the downloads directory. All right, and I can close that. Now I can come back over here to my terminal and open a new window. Go into downloads and do a SCP -RMP of CiviCRM to my development server, which is Blueprint almost engineer ENGR. Okay. And that credentials, you should see it. There we go. And CiviCRM has a lot of files associated with it. It's built to work cross-platform, and so as you may have saw on this download list, coming back over here, You got Drupal 6, 7, and 8, Backdrop, Joomla, and WordPress. And then you could download the localization files, which is a separate thing. I think it just might have like the different versions of languages and so forth installed in it. Um, but yeah, I've used CiviCRM on Drupal in the past, and it works pretty well. It takes a whole lot to configure in the beginning, but once you have it configured, it is pretty much good to go. All right, so now that all those files have copied, I'm going to remove that zip file because I can't do anything with that. And then I'm going to copy from my home directory the CiviCRM folder to my current, actually going to move it. I don't need to copy it. All right, so there I have my CiviCRM folder. All right, so now if I go back to my plugins page on my site, here we have a CiviCRM option. So I'm just going to go ahead and activate it. All right, and so it automatically pulled in my database credentials. I'm assuming it used the wp config.php file, which is kind of helpful. So if you have any issues here, this install button will not show. It'll just say check requirements, and anything that it has an issues with, it will highlight in red. So everything is good to go. If you just want to test drive this, you can load the sample data by clicking the checkbox. I don't want to do that. So I don't know. This is my development environment. I guess I can go ahead and load the sample data here and recheck the requirements. All right. And so check requirements and install. First, before I do that, let me take a backup of the database. So I'm going to go back up. And when you're converting your website, you don't necessarily have to take multiple database backups, but if you do, it kind of makes the process of rolling back the database easier. Especially if you make a mistake in something, you can always just go back to that. So I'm going to actually change this to pre-CiviCRM install. That way I know what that backup is for. Oh, it's spelled incorrectly. It's Ian Engineer. There we go. All right, so that is done, and just to confirm, I do see my database file, which is this right here. So now good to go ahead and load that, and I'll go ahead and load the sample data in here. There's no harm in that. Worst case scenario, I do a reinstall again of that data back into the system. And so CiviCRM does take a while to load all of this, especially if you select the loading of the sample data. So we'll take a pause for the calls and come back once it's done. All right, the installation has completed. And so if you go in, okay, the page automatically refreshed, and then you have a new menu option over here for CiviCRM. And so as you can see, everything is working like it should. There's some additional setup that needs to be done here. As I mentioned, the hardest part of using CiviCRM is setting it up. There is a configuration checklist. And so what it does, it highlights all of the sections of the site that you need to go through to make sure that everything is configured correctly. Once you have done all of these items, then you should be ready to go. For the most part, there are some other things, like if you're not using certain components. So for instance, like I have memberships up here, have events, contributions. I won't be accepting those initially. Maybe at a future point I will, but as of right now, only thing I'll be using is mailings. So when I go to the enable components, I will uncheck those options. So I can go ahead and do that now, just so you see how to turn things off and on. And also want to uncheck pledge. All right, so I'll leave mail and report there. And so now you see the features that are available or components that are available have dropped. And then each of these components has some settings associated with it. If I come over to administer, I can do the customized headers, templates, from address, and so forth. So I will actually walk through this, configuring in a different video. So that completes this installation video. If you have any questions about how to set up CiviCRM or have any issues setting up CiviCRM in your particular installation, feel free to drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer you, or at least be able to guide you with the to the resource that can give you the answer. Also, please be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at almostengr. If this video has helped you complete this install of CiviCRM, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, peace out.